Welcome to Ancient Wisdom of the Feminine. I am Srishti Yadav, and I'm here today with Magdala Ramirez in continuation with our Golden Era series. A little bit about Magdala Ramirez. She's a spiritual leader and healer from the Maya Mexica lineage. She was born as a medicine woman from a long lineage of medicine people in Mexico, where she began walking her path at an early age, working with medicine people and pyramids of Mexico. She brings the
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you today. My name is Magdala Ramirez Garcia, and I come from the Maya Mexica tradition. And it has been an incredible journey of what is happening in this moment. We are in this wave in our Aztec calendar that it has to do with Kali. Kali means woman, temple, house, pyramid. And that is being brought in a very, very different story of what it is this way that it is bringing forward. And it has to do with the sisterhood. And it has to do in the relationship that you have within your own self. Understanding these ways of the mother is just way, way, way too important because these teachings is the one that it is really helping. That is your assistance. This is your way of understanding a higher truth about yourself because these teachings is moving all this old paradigm, all this programming that it has been enslaving you for a very, very long time. Yet the ways of the feminine is very important to make the realization within your own self. It's a choice. And there is no such a thing of the feminine ways without the sisterhood. And cleaning that relationship is just way too important in this time and space. And for such a very, 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 very long time, women didn't know how to understand that sisterhood and how to relate with the mother. What it is, this beautiful understanding that she's bringing for she who she is, who is that great mother inside of yourself that is bringing this beautiful voice and guidance for the people. What happened and what is this about? Well, women from everywhere in the world, they have this distance from their own biological mothers. It was this distortion that the patriarchal system implied on the women and imposed literally in the women. The biological mothers, they were training their daughters to perpetuate the patriarchal system because of surviving. Those biological mothers didn't know how to relate with themselves as women, didn't know how to embrace that divinity inside of themselves because also the patriarchal system, they understood the divinity only through the masculine way. You know this thing about God is a male guy that is white with big beard sitting somewhere in the clouds judging you, and he doesn't like women. So women lost that for a very, very long time until now. Healing the relationship with your biological mother, it is imperative at this time and implies a lot of understanding of that generation that didn't know how to relate with herself as a woman. And that is how you actually learn how to relate with yourself. And it needs to change. All that programming, it needs to go. It needs to change. And the one who's moving, literally moving all this programming, it is the great mother in you. Your real mother is the great mother. And that great mother, it is really through that unconditional love that she is. And I don't want to say unconditional love because That implies that third dimensional reality. That implies that understanding of differences of kind of love. We can call it the true love as an energy that connects with everything. And that is very much eternal. She is the one that it is whispering inside of your ear, inside of your mind, connecting the heart with your mind, making you remember your original vibration. That we have been talking this for a very, very long time. So if people didn't know how to relate with themselves as women and be a sister to yourself, of course they didn't know how to be a sister with anybody else. So this is the first encounter that you have in your relation, because all your relations are based on how you're relating within your own self. Every single relation is bonded into it. You see, for a long time, the man didn't know anything about what is going on inside of you as a woman. So these situations for the masculine, they didn't understand. They didn't know about this. And they think, well, this is separated from me. And it is not. It is not separated also from the masculine, because in their feminine, also in their heart for the masculine, they do need to know how to relate with it too. So this darkness, because we can call it darkness, actually I can call it even a tragedy. It has been enslaving really human beings for a very, very long time. The way that you relate with your biological mother is the way that you are also relating with you. And she didn't know. She didn't know how not to be chauvinist. She didn't know how not to perpetuate the patriarchal system, because she was trained for that one too, until this generation that we are bringing our power back as a woman. And understanding that really the true mother, it is the great mother, and she is inside of you. Now, how do we see this and how do we understand? You're living inside of an hologram. So if I tell you great mother, you immediately relate it with your biological mother. And you think that your way to relate with the great mother, it is the way that you relate with your biological mother. And that it is a big mistake. Can you see your biological mother as a sister? As a human being? That in that generation it was very, very hard to even comprehend the divinity within themselves. I mean, people were programmed to not to relate with your moon time, to not to relate with your desires for sexuality, for not to, you think about the Great Mother as a very Puritan, that it has about all this Christian way of thinking about a woman. And the Great Mother is a warrior. And the Great Mother has sense of humor. And the Great Mother has all this wisdom. And the Great Mother is a completely different story of what you want to put on her. So we do need to clean that label that you put on her and allowed her to be inside of you and guide you into a higher balance. For such a long time, we have been bringing those teachings in our radio. And we have an archives of, 300, 400, something like that, understanding of who you are and what you are, and bringing those teachings in, about half an hour every week, hoping that you're going to listen. And that listening is going to trigger something inside of you to think in a very different way. And I do need to apologize. I never check on the website of Ancient Wisdom of the Feminine. And it is a big mess that is going to be resolved in this week. And understanding what is the Great Mother's business. It is in you and it is in me. It is in all of us because the Great Mother business, it is your business too. And when I say this, I do want you to make that realization within yourself. Why? Because the way that you are relating with her teachings, it is the way that you are relating with your own guidance and what is going on inside of you. What happened within your own self? What is it? So, sisterhood. We have a code of honor of the sisterhood. And we're going to make that post eventually in Facebook and really talk about what is that code of honor. When I went into this journey about looking for the code of honor of all these warrior societies and all these tribes, you talk about honor and respect, and that understanding is very prevalent. It has some difference from tribe to tribe, but what it is very prevalent, it is one little situation, which is actually huge. All this code of honor of the masculine comes from the code of honor of the feminine. And the code of honor of the feminine, it has to do with the sisterhood. You want to see how the land is. Well, look at the women. You want to see what the tribe is doing. Look at the women, because the women rules. Mama rules. She is the one that feeds you. She's the one that provides you. She's the one that connects you with your own nature. She is the one that connects you with this universe. She is the one that loves through you. The way that people relate, it is because of her. Human being is a social being by nature. And when I say this, it is her in motion bringing that relationship into being. For such a long time, when women thought that it was about competition, that it was about seeing your little world only, the little world that it is just that patriarchal system enslaving you, and not wanting to put attention to any of the teachings of the mother, all the business, thinking that the changes are in the outside instead of the.
To continue listening to this episode, please visit ancientwisdomofthefeminine.podbean.com and subscribe to our premium content. Thank you.